no fool, but no fool. I ain't no tool for their rule. I ain't no clown, but no clown. Just gonna live my life with both feet on the ground.
What's up, my film buffs and buffettes? It is Straight Shooter, and welcome to my shooting home, as you know, Team Sound Studios. What am I doing here? I'm here to do movie reviews, duh. So today, I'm going to be doing a spoiler review of Aladdin. Now, Disney is on this kick lately of reimagining their movies in live action. We, of course, saw The Jungle Book, Cinderella came out, Beauty and the Beast came out, Dumbo came out earlier this year. Next month, we have The Lion King. So, Aladdin came out, and I decided, I should probably check it out because, side information, there's 2 movies from Disney Animation, not including Pixar, not including Marvel, not including Star Wars and whatever, but just Disney Animation movies that I own on disc. One of them is The Lion King, so I'll be checking that out, and the other is Aladdin. So I went into the movie, I know the movie, so it's kind of hard not to compare the original movie to the new movie, but I did my best to try to see it as its own separate thing. But thankfully, they kind of painted by the numbers of the original, meaning they didn't really deviate too much from what they were trying to tell in the first movie. They added some things, like the movie starts out with the genie is talking to his kids, because we found out at the end of the movie that's what happens to him, is when he's not the genie anymore, he becomes human and decides to marry someone and travel the world and have kids, which is, I think, pretty cool, because in the first movie, after Aladdin freed the genie, he was still a genie. Like, he wasn't trapped in the lamp, but he still had all his magical powers, he still looked blue, and I understand from a marketing standpoint, you want to have sequels, the TV show that was on back in the day. From a narrative point of view, contained within this movie, it makes more sense that the genie used to be a regular human being, and then he became a genie, and then when he was wish freed, then he went back to being human. So anyway, that's how they changed it a little bit. They also added another song or two. There was a whole Jasmine solo song, and pretty much all the songs from the original movie are in this movie. So you have Aladdin and Jafar. I'm not sure who plays them, but of course Will Smith plays the genie, Naomi Scott plays Jasmine, and there are some familiar voices in the movie. And let me first say, the one that I was most skeptical about was probably Will Smith as the genie. The trailers don't make this movie look very good. But I decided to check it out just because it's Aladdin and it's a beloved movie from back in the day. I had to see how it turned out. And especially with the genie, it's very hard to do a role that's so iconic, made by Robin Williams originally. And he was so synonymous with the genie. You think of Aladdin's genie, you think of Robin Williams immediately. So it was very hard shoes to fill. And honestly, I think Will Smith did a really good job. He struck a good balance between trying not to copy what Robin Williams did, and also trying not to be too much Will Smith the rapper, or the beatboxer, or whatever you want to call him. He genuinely just seemed like someone that decided, this is how the genie is going to be, this is how I'm going to approach him, and I think it worked. I think he did a really good job, honestly. And that's saying something, because I went in thinking, there's no way Will Smith is going to be very good or even decent, but he was actually pretty good. Aladdin was whatever. He didn't really remind me of Aladdin in the cartoon, but I think they did the best with Aladdin they could, making him live action. because it would be hard to make someone like Aladdin in the cartoon that was so virtuous and so pure and wanted love from Jasmine and all this stuff, and have him not come off a bit corny. So they had to make him a little bit different, and I think he handled the part well enough. If there was one performance that I was disappointed in, it was definitely Jafar. The guy that played him, he didn't look the part, he didn't sound the part, he didn't act the part. They just could have found someone a little bit more sinister, someone that looked a little bit more sinister, someone that knew how to capture how Jafar looked in Aladdin, and maybe not to the T, because it would be hard for someone to play Jafar live action and look just like he did in the cartoon. He would have to look different. But my problem was they didn't make Jafar distinctive. He could have been any one of the people that dwelled in Agrabah. And he didn't stand out other than he was second to the Sultan, he was his advisor, and he wore all black. But other than that, his look didn't really seem evil to me. It just seemed like he was a regular guy that lived in the city, served the Sultan. He just didn't really play the part well. I guess that's the best way I could put it. Now, Jasmine, on the other hand, the actress Naomi Scott was beautiful. She had a great singing voice. She could dance really well. There's this scene where they're dancing in the courtyard and they're doing traditional old world East Indian style dances, and she's doing them really well. Like, she really learned how to do that stuff along with the other actors around them. And she played a strong female character. She was like, I'm not going to take any guff from anyone. I'm going to do what I want to do. But you see that more realized in the live action version. And I think she did a really good job. I think Will Smith did a really good job. Aladdin was okay. Jafar was not so good. But the movie itself, I really enjoyed it. I went in with low expectations, and I don't need to go into the whole story of what happens in Aladdin because everyone knows Aladdin. If you're thinking about seeing this movie, if you grew up any time within the last 20, 30 years, you know about this movie. You've probably seen the movie. I don't need to tell you what happens. It's Aladdin, the genie in the lamp, and all that stuff. You know what the story is. So I'll just say that I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a really good adaptation, and I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised because I went in thinking, well, I don't know, because the trailers don't look very good, but I decided to check it out just to see, because it's one of those movies that I was curious about. If it wasn't very good, I wouldn't have been disappointed. But it was good, so I was pleasantly surprised. I thought that the story they told with the genie, with him becoming human and having the kids and the wife, that was a good approach. The final battle between the genie and Jafar and Aladdin and everything, it played out a little bit differently than it did in the cartoon, but the resolve was the same. Jafar became the genie. He got thrown into the Cave of Wonders. Aladdin wished the genie free. And then Aladdin and the genie part ways. The genie goes to live his life with his family, and Aladdin lives with Jasmine, happily ever after, in Agrabah. And in that sense, it doesn't really set up a sequel, because if the genie is not the genie anymore, then what's the point of having another Aladdin movie? But I thought it was good because it's refreshing that not every movie has to be like, okay, we have to leave it open so that we can have a part 2 and a part 3 and an expanded universe and all that stuff. Aladdin just decided to make it one movie, and it made sense in one movie. And I thought that was good. I thought the movie overall was very enjoyable. My one complaint is the casting of Jafar. that'll probably knock the movie down for me to about an A-. That's how I see it. I definitely recommend checking out Aladdin, and if you're a fan of the old one, or if you have kids and they want to see it, you'll enjoy it too, all that stuff. So stay tuned, because I'm not done. I got 2 more reviews coming up for you. See you in a bit.
I don't believe in it, no I